Some people fear tackling the climate crisis is going to cost us money that we don't have. But the truth is that in many areas, getting in there and dealing with it will save us money.
I have just known for so long that we needed to be doing more. And the quality of our built environment is atrocious. And delaying is costing us money. It is not saving us money.
Boys, here we are.
Hugh, Kevin and I knew we had problems meeting our climate goals, but none of us had the full picture. So we started meeting some of the foremost experts in the country to get their view. It soon became clear there's a problem at the top.
In terms of how our government is tackling climate change at the moment, how are they doing?
Regrettably, I have to say the present government, I can't give more than a 2 or a 3 out of 10.
I'd say my school report for this government is probably 6 for ambition and 1 for effort. I genuinely think this government is doing star. We've got a plan, and it's the 6th carbon budget from the Committee on Climate Change. And it tells us that we can get to net zero, and it takes you step by step through what you have to do in every sector to get there. We just need to get busy enforcing it.
I had no idea this existed. The UK's path to net zero. Transport, buildings, manufacturing, energy, agriculture, aviation, shipping, waste, everything is in here. This is it.
It is now cheaper to be green in many instances, in many technologies, not all, but in many, and it's getting cheaper faster.
But we're not doing it, which is the extraordinary thing about this.
The government are saying we are reaching our net zero targets, and then we're seeing their advisors, the Climate Change Committee, saying, no, you're not. They are completely and utterly gaslighting us. We have a lying government.
I'm heading to Sweden to see what action on climate change could look like. Some people might believe, from what they've heard, that the net zero target is an almost impossible goal. But it's not. And other countries are heading there faster than us. Växjö is a Swedish city about the size of Burnley. 30 years ago, it unilaterally started getting rid of fossil fuels, and it may get to net zero in the next 6 years. I was here to meet the former mayor of Växjö. Pleased to meet you, Kevin.
Nice to meet you.
Bo Frank played a key role in kickstarting the city's green transformation. You must have seen a huge amount of change then, in the time that you've been mayor and deputy mayor.
A lot of changes. And one thing what is great about Växjö is that when we talk about environmental issues, the green issues, all political parties have shared the same opinion for 35 years.
This is so important.
This is unique.
One of the big arguments is that green is expensive, and therefore, if you want your economy to grow,
it's not.
You have to focus on the economy.
It's opposite, because ecology and economy are 2 sides of the same coin. Our local increase in economy here has been higher than average in Sweden.
And so we toured the city in a fossil fuel-free bus, of course, and Bo explained how it had made itself so sustainable. If you want to know how to solve climate change, the key is to realize how little individuals can do on their own, but how powerful their governments are to fix it. If the lights in your house come from power stations run on gas, if your boiler is gas-powered, then it's very hard to avoid using fossil fuels. But governments have the power to rewire economies, so they run on cheaper, more sustainable energy. And many economists think that doing this will, in the long run, make us richer, not poorer. And when it comes to housing, only government has the power to set standards. The people living in these houses in Växjö are better protected from the current energy crisis because their houses have been built to standards the UK has so far chosen not to adopt. Because they're so well insulated, Swedish homes lose energy 3 times slower than ours, saving people money on their energy bills. Hello.
Hi. Do you want to come in?
I'd love
and have
to.
a look?
Helen has kindly agreed to let me look around. Well, I'd love to see it very briefly. Nice supper. dinners being cooked on an induction hob. Electricity, not gas, powers these homes.
Yeah.
Triple glazed?
Yes.
Wow.
It is.
I mean, it feels really snug.
And we moved here mid-December, and that was like, it was -10 Celsius when we moved in.
Did you get cold? Is it?
No, nothing like that. Nothing.
I want our new builds to be like these. But even now, the biggest British house builders do not build to these standards. And that means that British houses are bad for the environment because they waste so much energy, and they also cost more in the long run because they're more expensive to run. Ooh, hello, Hugh.
Hi, Kevin. How's it going?
Yeah. I'm furious. I don't know about you. I've just had an email back from Gove, Michael Gove's office, saying that he doesn't want to do an interview.
We have a government who, when businesses are making staggering amounts of money doing the wrong thing, they're just not prepared to step in and change the rules so that they need to do the right thing. And we can't go on like that.
I want to know why Rishi and his ministers just are not moving faster with green policies like the ones that the Climate Change Committee say we should be following, ones that could help us all, help everybody. And when it comes to new homes in particular, why is this government not demanding of these huge, wealthy house builders? Why are they not demanding they build better? I mean, is it just coincidence that many of these house building firms have historically been donors to the Tory party? I don't know. But whatever the reason, they're being allowed to basically get away with building new houses that are such a low standard in comparison to what else is going on in Europe. And it would not cost the government a penny to demand better. I've come to an estate in Lancaster to see the kind of new homes we could be building. Hey, Matt. Thanks so much for meeting.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. You built these, yeah?
I did, yes.
How many are there?
There's 20 units altogether, 7 shared ownership and 13 affordable rent.
Matt Horrocks built these houses to such high standards, they use just 10% of the energy required to run a normal house and could save the people living in them up to £2,000 every year. I mean, as a developer, was it painful to do?
On paper, it seemed really hard to build. But as we got involved in the job, we did the training and actually got on site and started producing them, it wasn't as hard.
Hey, you walk in the door. Oh, what's this?
So this is our MVHR unit.
So you're keeping the building warm?
Yeah.
But you're getting loads and loads of fresh air.
That's it.
And it's filtered too, isn't it?
Filtered, yeah.
MVHRs, or mechanical ventilation and heat recovery units, are an essential part of these houses' efficiency. Normal homes just leak air constantly. That keeps the air fresh, but it also means they lose all the heat in the building in cold conditions. These houses are super insulated and airtight, and that keeps the warmth in. The MVHRs draw fresh, cool outside air in, and they warm it up by transferring the heat from the outgoing, stale, warm air. And then they circulate that new, fresh, warm air around the building. Can we see the heat pump?
Yeah.
How big is it? Oh, it's tiny, yes. The houses aren't even connected to gas. They just rely on small electric heat pumps for additional heat. How much can you build a house for?
So for a standard 3-bed house, I think we're around the 125 mark.
The cost of building to this high standard is about £20,000 extra. That cost, however, more than pays for itself over the first 5-10 years of occupation, because people just get such reduced electricity and energy bills.
Once people understand the cost saving and what it's doing for the environment, everyone will want one.
What this project demonstrates is that any builder can build to this quality. Homes like these are our future. We should all be living in buildings like this.
There are some councils around the country who agree with me. In theory, they should be able to make developers build to higher standards, as they're supposed to have some control over building regulations and be able to demand better new build standards in their own areas. But unfortunately, the government have even blocked this as well.
Diane is a senior planning officer at Lancaster City Council who wants to hold house builders to higher standards, but she can't.
We've not been able to because there is a written ministerial statement that was made in 2015 which prevents us from doing that.
Local planning authorities preparing neighbourhood plans should not send in their emerging local plans any additional local technical standards or requirements. A ministerial statement does not need legislation to revoke it. So Michael Gove could just so easily stand up in Parliament, just lift this blocker immediately just by making a fresh statement. And that would allow local councils to improve the house building in their areas. Someone else resisting the path to net zero is Michael Gove. But I've had a breakthrough. I finally hunted him down at a book launch via a tip-off.
It's a book launch with Michael Gove and with MPs. It's because he just refuses to meet, answer any questions.
I'm hoping to do two things here. One, get him to agree to a meeting, and two, to immediately lift the blocker on local councils setting their own housing standards. I finally get my chance to speak to Michael Gove.
I just recently met with Lancaster Council, who have had their very ambitious targets for building regulations actually rejected by the Planning Inspectorate. So can I ask you to make a really clear statement here of whether or not local authorities can continue to set their own building standards?
So we should be doing more in order to support that. My offer is that I'll come with you to Lancaster and visit Lancaster and Fleetwood if you'd like me to, and let's look at the situation on the ground so that together we can try and resolve it.
Thank you very much. He's agreed to meet Lancaster, and he's agreed to go there so we can ask him all the questions we want, seemingly.
We set up that interview. We organised it from Monday, and of course, on the Friday afternoon, they emailed us and said, oh, nothing to worry about, nothing untoward, but it's a bit of a diary clash. And so we tried to reschedule it, and of course, nothing. I mean, just literally at that point had evaporated into thin air. And I just found it so frustrating because surely ministers ought to be prepared to answer the questions of national importance, public importance, about the policies that they are responsible for.